talk about programmable messaging, especially when you've got an application sending messages to effectively a person, and that could be a consumer or a business. This requires what we call A2P 10DLC registration. This is a different regulation. It's correlated to TCPA. Basically, it's telephone carriers trying to figure out how they can follow TCPA rules by putting some burden on the business and asking for information from them. And if you follow these rules, then you're basically cleared to use programmatic messaging on most major networks. And there's a couple of things you got to do. So the first part is you need to register your brand. Pretty straightforward for this one: your name, type of business you are, EIN or tax ID, if you have one, industry that you operate in, the website URL, where you operate regionally, the physical address, and then contact information of whoever they need to get a hold of if you actually do get in trouble. The next step after you get approval is you've got to do what we call TCR, so the campaign registry. And what this is now that they know who you are, they want to know the use case. So what are you going to be using this registration effectively to contact people for? And so you got to provide examples of what you're going to say and basically why you're in need of programmatic messaging. So they're going to approve that use case here, and they're going to approve your brand. And that basically makes it so now you can use local numbers. And this is where the difference between toll-free numbers and local numbers is important. So if you're using a local area code, that's considered 10DLC, right? That's what 10DLC is. It's a phone number that has a local area code to it. So something like Austin's got 512. You got Chicago 630. The point is, if you're going to represent some local number, you need to follow the two above regulations and get A2P campaign. You basically need to get A2P 10DLC registration for that particular campaign. However, if you are using a toll-free number, you don't have to do A2P 10DLC. You still need to provide a lot of the same types of information. So I've listed them here. It's again, the name. You don't need to provide the business type, but you need physical address, the web URL, contact info. The other things that you need here is you need proof of prior express written consent. If you want to know more about that, we've got previous chapters talking very much in detail about prior express written consent. The description of your use cases, that's not that different than the campaign registry part. And then sample messaging copy, again, that's basically the same as here. And so it's very similar information, but the point is that it takes a lot less time. So basically, toll-free number regulation, getting verification for a toll-free number costs a lot less. There's basically fewer fees, and you can usually get it done in like 24 to 48 hours versus getting A2P 10DLC compliant takes a couple of days, and it does carry a couple extra fees with it, and it's a longer process in general. So toll-free is easier. If you can use toll-free for your messaging on Pitchit, I highly suggest it because it's just a lot easier regarding regulations. And whenever Pitchit provisions a phone number for our customers, we always use toll-free. But if you're going to bring your own number and you insist on local numbers being used, then just keep in mind you've got to basically get A2P 10DLC compliant before you load that number into Pitchit. Or the major networks will basically block you from sending that phone number, from sending any messages from that number. And without further ado, that concludes programmable messaging and the A2P 10DLC registration regulations. Thanks.